Okay, we're live. Hello.
We're live.
Yeah, we're live.
We're live.
Yeah, we're live. We're live. Like Eddie Vedder.
We're doing it live.
We're still alive.
We're live.
We're alive.
Like the living dead.
That's right.
Straight out the crypt.
These kids seem mad thirsty. We got anything to drink? Oh man, we even have a chat today.
Oh, Cobra's here too.
Yeah, look at that.
Yo, hello, Cobra.
I am getting chat up on screen. Give me 1 second.
We got Elsa. We got Cobra. The dream team.
That's right.
That's what's up.
That's right. How's everyone doing? That was the new year. We missed a week.
It was good. Celebrated my second wedding anniversary. So it was pretty nice.
Congrats.
That's what's
Congrats,
up.
dude.
Did you get married on New Year's, Mike?
Yeah, we did. We eloped, but yeah, we thought 1, 2, 3 was a cool day. So yeah.
Damn, that's romantic as heck, dude.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah,
That's what's up. I went to my sister's house. I played some games.
Nice.
It was a good time.
I worked, but for some reason they didn't pay anyone to decorate the casino this year.
Damn.
Like last year they got a red carpet and they had all this stuff everywhere. Today they have literally 3 decorations and that was it. It was really weird.
Yeah. So did you decorate the casino?
No, I just count the money. Sometimes I'm really bad at it. All right, so what do we got first? We got a good show today. A lot of stuff's happening. It's hard to say that about what we're going to talk about because none of it's fun.
Yeah.
Some of it's funny, but none of it's fun. So we'll go right up. I have absolutely no segue. It's just a non sequitur. We're just jumping right in. The International Community Court, the House or Criminal Court,
the International Community
Court.
Court.
Yes, right there.
International
Well, I see ICC. I think Ice Crown City.
It's just a community, the whole world.
So then it's trying to figure out what this ICC is. I think it's where the Lich King lives.
Yeah.
Which apparently our U.S. House does too, because they're going to sanction them over threats to arrest Israel's prime minister. The sanctions include asset freezing, and I don't think I left that part in what the sanctions are, but it's really not great. Let's see, this is Representative Brian Mast says America is passing this law because a kangaroo court is seeking to arrest the prime minister of our great ally Israel. Representative Brian Mast, chairman of House of Foreign Affairs Committee, said in a speech before Thursday's vote. Legislation proposes sanction for any foreigner who helps the ICC in its attempts to investigate, detain, or prosecute a U.S. citizen or citizens of an allied country that does not recognize the authority of the court. Sanctioning the court, they wrote, will jeopardize the ability of victims across all of the court's investigations to access justice, weaken capability of sanctions, tools, and other contexts, and place the United States at odds with its closest ally. The letter warned of imposing asset freezes and entry restrictions on ICC allies would bring the U.S. Senate Majority Leader John Thune has promised swift consideration to act so Trump can sign it into law effective immediately when he's in office on January 20th. Is that how we feel about that? How do you guys feel?
So
I think
this is just another one of the U.S.'s, an example of the whole international rules-based order being bullshit. Because this isn't even Trump being a boisterous motherfucker. This is still Biden's team, and this is what they're all about. They're all lawyers. They all want every country to follow the rules until it comes down to the U.S. or Israel, Yeah. The ICC is a organization that, a lot of the world signs onto, including our closest neighbor, Canada, who said they would arrest Netanyahu if he came to Canada. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's all about the rules-based order until it comes down to the U.S. or Israel.
Right, because the
Yeah,
U.S. still thinks it makes the rules. We got to protect our like expansion imperialistic bastion in the Middle East.
Right.
yeah, absolutely. And that guy Brian Mast that you were talking about, have you heard of him, Calvin?
No.
So he's pretty nuts. He actually like I guess he like served in the IDF and like he tried to like intimidate Rashida Tlaib dressed up in like an IDF like uniform in Congress one time.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's pretty nuts.
definitely.
And like I don't think he actually like did anything when he was in the IDF. I think he just kind of like I don't know, just it was basically like the most basic stuff he could do. Like he just hung out at like a base, I guess. But yeah, it is. It's a real mask off moment for our supposed support of the rules based international order and democracy. It's like
Is
the whole facade is just falling apart right now in real time.
I mean, was it ever any different than like all the UN votes where like it's like vote to end world hunger and it's like US is the only country voting against it?
Yeah, but I feel like it's more like out in the open now, because like when you see what's going on in Gaza, like you literally cannot deny it, like you know.
Yeah, and about the UN votes, I mean, it's it's that there's a quote unquote legal justification why people don't have to follow it is because it was legally vetoed by a member of the Security Council, the U.S. Meanwhile, this is just a ruling that the U.S. is not a party to the ICC, but I mean, still, it's just being flaunted on an international stage, and that's what gives it legitimacy. Is that these things should be followed if all parties are agreed to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think it's hilarious too that like wasn't it like not even like a year ago Biden was like, yeah, I think the ICC should go after Putin, and then here we are just enabling a genocide. It's like oh nothing to see here. We're
Right.
actually going to stop them from enforcing international law in this instance.
Yeah, it's one thing to not be a party to the ICC, but it's another thing to just say we're going to sanction you just for following this rules-based ruling. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it seems like you said mask off or more out in the open, but maybe I've just been cynical enough that it really just seems more like the obvious next step to what kind of been coming before it. You know, like
Right.
it's just been going downhill and we've been moving in they're always in this like it's like neo-American firstism, like the isolationism where it was like, okay, America's gonna sit here and do whatever. We got this ocean between us, and now it's kind of like more like, okay, now we control everything. We're the big military power in the world, so now we're the only one who gets the say, and that's how we kind of keep that like buffer from the rest of the world going. Still,
Right.
Yeah.
all right. Well, that's what we got internationally. Moving on to what's been happening closer to home. Uh, oh, speaking of here, we got Tyler in the chat. Who's this one is personal because we got L.A. wildfires. That's the blowtorch guy. We're not talking about him yet. The wildfire. I'm not even having a good graphic to throw up. No, there's LA's on fire. There's nothing to pull up.
Uh,
And all this crazy stuff's
yeah.
insane. Like we got people making posts like, "Oh, Topanga started the fire because she was in Raw and held up her hands."
She was making the fire goddess.
Yeah, so Topanga started the fire. We got people just like harassing anybody they even think is like an arsonist. Like David Spade's offering $5,000 to catch arsonists, all because they caught one like not white guy with a blowtorch.
Yeah.
Which
Easy.
honestly, this seems absurd to think that like one guy with a blowtorch could start this wildfire. I know fires kind of get out of control, so one guy maybe could have, but actually, but like in the city, I feel like it's
This is like the most intense fire they've had like ever. There's no
yeah.
way like a single
I
dude could have done that.
Well, even if it was some one guy started the fire,
I keep saying that, but wasn't it like 2 years ago one guy did it with a gender reveal party?
yeah. But that's the thing. Even if it was one guy that started, that means it's too easy to start a massive fucking fire that like that could threaten to destroy the second largest city in America. You know what I'm saying?
But also, why would there be arsons out now? Like, while the fire's already going, like, why would you be going out and putting like more fire in?
Because they don't believe in climate change.
Yeah,
That's why. Like, no, it's got to be the fucking the gremlins are out now.
yeah, that's true.
It's the Goonies.
The Goonies. It's that dude from the Goonies. Hey, you guys, guy.
And so, of course, with any sort of like wild scale disaster or people moving, everybody has to be asking, is the property okay? And so, luckily, people are asking if the property is okay. We
The
got
property is not okay.
The property's not okay. I mean, it's on fire.
Spoiler alert: the property's not okay.
But we got to make sure the property that's not on fire is also okay. So we got the National Guard setting up to make sure. We have reports of like just hundreds of thieves just like rolling up to neighborhoods in like vans and like letting people out to go loot all the homes. I saw one tweet saying they were just like
thieves in.
Yeah, I saw someone say they were just like running up on scooters and just like checking every single door.
They said our city's on fire. They're looting our stuff while it's on fire.
You remember when your LA worked and wasn't on fire? So like it's one of those things where like yeah, crime happens. Like, obviously someone should, but it always feels like there's a disproportional amount of attention and resources go into this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a big national issue, so everyone wants to put in their hot button issue on it. You know, people want to talk about certain people looting. People want to talk about DEI.
Yeah, one was just a literal segment of someone evacuating their house, but they were black, so it's looting.
Yeah, there was that like viral post on Twitter of like black people helping their like mom evacuate, and then like people like the usual suspects are added again. Like what? Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy. Got to make sure the property's okay. There's always like groups that come in and take advantage of chaos, but like then there's also groups that come in and take advantage of people taking advantage of chaos. So it's like they come in like, oh, like there's looters, so they can just come in and start shooting people because they think they're a looter.
Fire is causing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why are we worried about like people's TVs? Like, if their house not burnt down, like, cool. That's who cares if like your TV's gone when you come back to your not burnt down house when like all of LA burned down.
Yeah, you gotta prioritize people's lives before property, but if you're a conservative, apparently you don't.
Yeah, and then speaking of like climate change, he's been saying it's a fire siege event. I should have made a graphic for that. He's been saying that to us all week.
Well, the thing is with the climate change, you know, people try to downplay it so much, but the issue is during climate change,
they've only gotten
green period.
They've only gotten 0.2 inches of rain this wet season.
Right.
That's like. That's so not. That's wild.
Yeah. But with the added warmth, there's going to be more vegetation, and then with the added dryness,
from all that vegetation not getting water,
that vegetation's going to fucking dry up and burn. You know, like it's like the science behind climate change is very simple. The more CO2, the hotter it is. The hotter it is, the more vegetation. The hotter it is, the drier it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people are looking for all these like different explanations. It's the DEI fire department. It's this. It's that.
Don't worry, we'll talk about that.
You know, you can make the argument maybe there should be better land practices, and I'm sure there should be, but at the end of the day, that's the main driver behind what's going on here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like didn't we all like learn about the greenhouse effect in like third grade? Like, why
Yeah,
are
but
people like
they just declared
seemingly
that
forgetting
over.
about that?
Yeah.
They just said like COVID. They just said it was fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I think we stopped expanding the ozone layer hole for a little bit and called it a win.
Yeah.
I don't even think we stopped it forever. I actually haven't heard about it. I think they just said it's fucked. We're all fucked. So don't worry about the hole in the ozone layer.
Right. Well, that's been shrinking, I think. Okay, we got some stuff in the chat.
Yeah, we got Canada's being annexed to 51st state.
We're
We
going to talk
got
about that. Yeah.
yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about that.
If the firefighters have been across country city. I've seen Mexico, and then I thought I saw Ukraine was sending firefighters, which kind of seems a little.
That doesn't sound right.
It
Because
seems a little counterproductive.
because firefighters would be
Well,
like
but-
able-bodied men. Like you'd think they would be all on the front line right now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't actually know how that's going, so just
Yeah.
feels like a lot. Yeah, there's been a lot of outside help. There's been like donations of food giveaways. Like Jollibee's was giving out food. People were making fun of Guy Fieri because Anthony Bourdain said that I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, there was a whole thing. I don't know shit
Oh,
about
it's like we're a shithole country.
Right. So there has been a lot of
Yeah.
community solidarity. Hassan Piker interviewed all the inmate firefighters.
Yeah, a
There's,
lot of their
whole,
firefighters are just people
like 30% of them.
in prison. That seems kind of messed up, but
Yeah, they seem like they're just getting overworked too. They're like, I work 12 to 24-hour shifts fighting these fires. It's wild.
okay. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know anything about Greenland. I don't know why anyone wants it right now. Doesn't Denmark own Greenland?
Yeah, I think is there like some sort of like natural resource there or something?
That's probably oil.
are we officially moving on to Greenland? Have we
Oh,
talked
no,
about the fires
I'm
enough?
just getting distracted. No, we got more on the fires because the next thing on
Okay,
the
okay.
fires.
Let's talk about the annexation stuff after the fires.
Yeah, we can go on an
You're the
annexation
programmer,
tangent.
Calvin.
I kind of forgot about all that when I was planning the show that we were annexing land through posting on Twitter. I just forgot that was happening.
Dude, that's like the most contemporary thing that's happened.
It's like a huge deal. It's been a weird week, all right.
We gotta talk about that. But yeah, let's keep talking about the fires because that's the biggest thing.
So, a drone collided with a super scooper in midair, which is a massive fixed-wing plane that can drop large amounts of water. So yeah, there's a whole thing with drones. People trying to fly drones to capture footage, and they're running into firefighting helicopters and stuff, and water planes. There's a FAA ban on drone flying, but people are still doing it. One guy posted one after the ban, and even people on Reddit they've been yelling at him. FYI, this is an irresponsible to fly in your drone for epic shots near working wildfire, not to mention a federal crime, commented cinematographer Tim Sarkis. 20,000 years.
So
per
this is just
violation,
more
$1,000 per violation.
drone derangement syndrome.
Yeah, but it's not people freaking
Right.
out about drones. It's people with drones being deranged with drones.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did they reverse their position on this or something? What's going on here?
Yeah, well, no, people in New Jersey are scared of drones. People in LA are flying drones into public service workers for footage, which seems about right, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. If the biggest news thing going on right now was happening near my house, and I had a drone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would probably fly my drone into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd post it online, especially if it's a crime. But maybe I wouldn't have looked if it was a crime first or not.
Yeah. So it crashed into one of those like big planes that drop water on stuff.
Yeah.
And did that plane crash as well, or were they just like, shoot?
No, it landed without. Oh, the aircraft landed safely. It just like hit the wing or something.
Oh.
That's
But
not too
it
bad.
so it forced it to land.
Yeah, yeah, because they had to like land and figure out like what it hit, what happened, if there was damage. Like, 'cause I don't think you can just hit stuff with your airplane and continue about your day.
Right. Yeah, they're very sensitive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, here. One
Even
second.
if it's
Let
a
me.
really big plane. Yeah, I
What is
mean,
this?
people are going nuts with the drones. That's whether you're going nuts about your own drone or going nuts about theoretical drones above your home in New Jersey, like drones. It's not a technology man was, programmed to perceive. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, there's no
Yeah,
Like
for
we
sure.
as a
shenanigans. Okay.
species aren't meant to just fly up in the air and see whatever we want at all times.
You know what? I think we gotta dial it back and bring back the RC car. That's the only
Yeah,
solution.
That's right.
yeah, yeah. Put a little camera on your RC car and drive it into the
Problem is
forest
that cat's
fire.
like literally
Yeah.
out of the bag forever because of satellite views. Like you already can just see like everything
Yeah,
at all times.
yeah,
Uh, I pulled up the article. I didn't like leave out a snip. He literally just says it put a hole in the wing and they had to land, and no other like comment on the damage.
okay. It's probably
It's literally just
nothing.
one line. It's like it put a hole in the wing and we landed. It's still wild. Like, yeah, don't fly your planes right now. Just stay safe out there, everyone.
Yeah.
So the next thing that happened with the fire is the fire chief. Like, we're talking about the budget cuts, right?
Hmm.
Because it's like a whole thing where like they just cut the budget of the fire department. Like last year, they took a 2% cut, which is like $19 million over
Yeah.
last year. They like cut a bunch of overtime for the firefighters. They didn't approve money that could have helped fund. In the Fox 11 interview, Crowley went further, saying the department had not received funding necessary to serve the city's population. The department said should have doubled the number of firefighters and added at least 62 more fire stations, is what she was wanting to do. Uh, but like there was this whole gaffe where she was like talking that, and then there was like a really long meeting with the mayor, and he missed a presser, so the Daily Mail just reported that he fired her.
Hmm.
So like in between this whole thing where she's yelling at the mayor, there's like weird like misinformation about her firing. They just spent all this time doing like press briefings to be like, look, we're not firing her. She's just mad about the budget. We're gonna keep fighting these fires.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't realize that this article was not even talking about the budget cuts until I was too late. But that was the hard numbers. The 2% budget decrease, and just not granting any more requests for funding to amp up her departments.
Yeah. Oh wait. Elsa has something about the drones.
Oh, where did I put chat?
How far above your own property does the airspace belong to you in the USA? Are there any guidelines like we have here?
That's a good question.
It's a very good question. I think
I mean, there are
crime,
building
interferes with
permits in the
there
U.S.
was talk about like what the restrictions that the FAA put on place, like for where you can't fly your drones and where the airspace was. So I think there's like just a general altitude limit for the drones. I don't know how
Yeah.
far it stops being your property above it though. That's a great question.
I think there's like a concept where when you own property, you own it to like infinitum, above you, but and also like below you, but also like you can't build anything like that doesn't vibe with your local building codes, so you can't just like build a skyscraper on your like 3 acre lot or whatever.
Yeah, but like I think in the case with the drones, if you just went straight up on your property, you would hit like a height limit where it's like it's still
Yeah.
illegal to fly your drone, even though it's still technically straight above your property.
Well, weren't we talking about in the drone episode? Most drones are purposefully designed so that they can't get to like
Oh yeah, that's
the
right. The like
altitude where
batteries were shutting down.
planes.
Yeah,
Yeah, because people were like, I tried to fly my drone to see the UFO, but it died. You know.
yeah. So like right now, the fines are more for like because there's a wildfire going on. They don't want drones interfering with these planes and like other
Yeah, because the
efforts.
planes are flying lower than
So
usual
like
because they're trying to dump.
they imposed like harsher restrictions on drone flying right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer Elsa's question, I think I found something on the Google.
Ooh.
According to FAA regulations, you can generally fly a drone over private property at a maximum altitude of 400 feet below ground level, as long as you maintain visual line of sight and follow other safety guidelines. However, always check local laws, as some areas may have stricter regulations regarding drone flight over private property. So yeah,
Yeah.
so it sounds like in general 400 feet, but it might differ depending on what state you're in.
I feel like we were destined to talk about this after talking about the FAA in Iceland with Brian Chippendale.
Brian Chippendale from
Brian
Lightning
Chippendale
Bolt.
with Lightning.
Shout out to Lightning Bolt.
Shout out to Lightning Bolt. Brian and Brian.
Mike and I met him again when we were at a basement show in Alston, right?
I feel like they love
We
just
did, yeah,
hanging
that was
out
pretty sweet.
at their own shows.
We helped him carry his shit in.
It's awesome.
We did. We were in Brody's for a minute.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Elsa says drone defense lasers will become a thing. I think at some sporting events they have like falcons that will like take out a drone.
Falcons like a triangle falcon.
Yeah, they have like an anti-drone falcon at like at NFL games and
That's
stuff.
awesome. It's like this. Don't they also have like
Like, how
snipers
do
too?
you
Don't they?
know?
Why don't they just use the NFL snipers to snipe the drones?
I don't know. Well, you hit the drone, and then whatever poor drunkard is sitting in the same line of sight, or like some like, bench lineman or something.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay. So what were we talking about?
So now that was all I had like on the fires themselves. So now we got kind of like a nice like segue to our next thing, which is DEI firefighters and just DEI in general and Mark Zuckerberg's madness over it all right now.
Yeah.
So in the top left there, we have what's going around on Twitter now. They're blaming, just as we were just talking about, the fire chief is a woman, which, if that doesn't mean anything to you, congratulations.
She's a lid-looking woman, right?
I don't even. Yeah, she's just like a woman. So that's the entire reason LA is burning down right now. They're applying the same logic as like Conquered the video game in Gamergate 2.0 to this natural disaster. Which somehow was working because now Mark Zuckerberg is ending Facebook's initiatives, as he was on Joe Rogan wearing a black like sweater and a gold chain.
Yeah, this is all like part of his like glow up or whatever.
Yeah, he's going through. He's either about to get divorced or is already divorced, just hasn't finalized it yet. That's what it feels like. That's the energy he's bringing into this Joe Rogan interview.
Yeah.
During his phase.
Yeah, it's like he won a bet to see if he could get more divorce than Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like all the billionaires are trying to like out compete Elon Musk. Like, remember Jeff Bezos was like trying to be based on Twitter too and everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think this just goes to show like just the whims of capitalism. You know what I'm saying? Like, DEI was never a corporate like scheme to like diversify and like quote unquote dilute America. Like, this was a response to what the public wanted, and this was always a corporate half measure to raise up minorities and everything. This wasn't. I mean, I'm sure that it did help somewhat, but this was like I said, a half measure. This wasn't
No,
anything
it
that was
was
going
literally
to, like, in the long term, help
just
the
like
plight of
essentially
minorities in America.
because essentially DEI and affirmative action are kind of just like weights on a scale. And so, like, if they're
Yeah,
looking at it like, okay,
Yeah.
everyone's only hiring white people, they refuse to desegregate after the civil rights movement, we're going to just make them desegregate by law. And so, like, you have to hire a certain amount of people because they just wouldn't have otherwise. And then you get far removed from there, and they're like, oh, well, let's celebrate the diversity, keep these programs going and all that. But now we're so far removed from the actual segregation and desegregation and civil rights that people think it's just racist against white people. And that's kind of
yeah,
where we're
and
at.
right.
No, it's basically a way of yeah, just trying to like put a band-aid on the problem, and while still prioritizing the needs of the market or whatever.
Right. Like, it's not a
Yeah,
great band-aid, but like it just wasn't what it was. So now they're saying they're gonna change it from DEI to like accessibility is the new
hmm,
department they're changing it to, like accessibility. Whatever that means. Just more corporate buzzword jargon.
yeah. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's reputation laundering. It's and they recognize that now the will of the people, now that DEI is a buzzword, is against these kind of measures.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, great, we can get rid of this. We don't have to worry about this anymore. So
Well,
it's
the
just as
head.
easy for them to cast it off. You know what I'm saying?
So they
Yeah.
said the legal and policy landscape surrounding diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in the United States is changing. The Supreme Court of the United States has recently made decisions signifying a shift in how courts will approach DEI. It reaffirms long-standing principles that discrimination should not be tolerated or promoted on a basis of inherent characteristics. So it's exactly what I was saying. They're saying that like it's like that's the thing that they're hiring on based on race.
Yeah.
Uh, like DEI is like the only racist hiring practice, and it wasn't anything else ever in America, at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say, like, it's just like another classic example of like conservatives just like freaking out over like the dumbest shit, just like putting their own stupid like spin on something, like, oh, it's because it's woke. Or, like, remember when they were freaking out about like Snickers? They're like, oh, they took the dick vein out of Snickers.
Right, because the
Or
situation.
they
It's
stopped
like
making the green M&M sexy.
it's like they have to make the stupidest goddamn culture wars out of every fucking thing rather than looking at actual root cause analysis, and it's
Right,
just
because
insane.
the
It's driving me
situation
nuts.
that's getting imagined is that like you just because it's preying on like the angry young white man, and they just tell him a story and where like you're getting opportunities taken away from you because they're going to people of color, people minority, you know, because of these diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. And that's the lie that's being fed to them, and that's what they're believing. Uh, Even though it's like statistically the opposite, always, still, even through these programs, I think.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. What were you gonna say, Charlie?
Yeah. And even when you fill out, like, when you're applying for a job, you fill out that, like, what race are you, like, well, at least they say this, but it doesn't attach to your actual application. It's just like something that gets randomized, and then they can say, oh, we've considered this percentage of people who are Pacific Islanders or whatever, like,
Mm.
it's not even that you're more likely to get a job if you're whatever. It's that they can say, oh, look how many Pacific Islanders or, like, Alaskan natives we interviewed for this position.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's basically just window dressing.
and even then, like a lot of it still feels like tokenism. Like you said, they can say they interviewed them, they can say they considered them, and
Yeah,
even they had it, they can just say like, "Oh, look, we've hired, like we've appointed, and hired, and applied, or let into our school,
yeah,
whatever have you, the legal minimum amount of this." It's all just platitudes. It always has been.
Yeah, it's superficial statistics at the end of the day.
Right. Uh, they're also, I think the big one here is that Facebook is throwing away its fact checking program and moving straight to just like community notes uh, because they
Yeah,
think fact checking has gotten too political.
I kind of like the community notes system,
Yeah,
even though sometimes it can get like kind of Reddit with it,
actually, on the Topanga, there's a community note on there.
Yeah, I bet it's Reddit as fuck. What does
Yeah,
it say?
it says like, if you or a loved one views this as a credible thought process, please seek help.
Yeah, that's
Like,
Reddit. That's
why would you
Reddit
have to
hell.
put a note that says that like Topanga made a witch symbol on Raw and caused the wildfire? Like, well, I don't think you need to let everyone know that that's not real.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah,
real.
that's like soy AF. I'm hesitant to use the word soy. I'm not.
She started.
You're not
She
hesitating.
started the fire.
Panga
She started
started
the
the
fire in a
fire.
witch ritual.
She used her chaos magic. She got the chaos flame ending in Elden Ring in
That's
real
right.
life.
That's right.
And she
I can't remember
sacrificed
what the
Corey
guy yells now.
Matthews.
Yeah. Okay, Elsa's talking about video games. We did a deep dive into
Oh yeah, no,
weather
yeah.
and
I gotta. We're gonna talk a little bit about Elon Musk and video games. Not too much longer now.
Okay.
Wasn't it said that
So
the
what's
fact
also
checking
saying?
program on Facebook is very biased and not free from partiality? I don't actually use Facebook at all, so I'm not actually. I don't really know much about the fact checking program or if this is like fantastic or not good.
Yeah. When I think of like the institutional fact checking program, I think of what's that called?
PolitiFact.
PolitiFact, right?
Yeah,
When the kid Bernie like pants on fire because he would say like people in the U.S. can't afford healthcare, and it'll be like, oh, actually, Bernie, only 47% of people say they go bankrupt from.
yeah.
It's just under half our people.
Uh,
Yeah.
so the fact checkers, which include PolitiFacts, run by global nonprofit Pointer Institute and FactCheck.org, Zuckerberg charged have just been too politically biased and destroy more trust than they created. FactCheck.org managing editor Lori Robertson says, we provide accurate information to help social media users as they navigate their news feeds. We do not and could not remove content. Any decisions to do so were Meta's. So any like actual filtering wasn't even done by the fact checkers.
Yeah.
And they do say that Zuckerberg did say the company will maintain its own filters, but these would focus on high priority issues like terrorism or fraud. Presumably, the system would also keep live action postings of murders and beheadings off the site. I don't know why I'm not pulling up a bigger
Thank you for
version
that.
of my own picture. I'm like leaning forward to read the tiny one.
Mhm.
Uh, so I think it's. I was thinking about this a little bit today. It feels like a censorship by uncensoring, by letting everything out, and then it's boosted by their algorithms. They can say, hey, we're not censoring anyone, we're letting anybody say anything they want. But then because like you can only see so many things, people can only like show certain things, you control what they show, you end up just silencing other voices with this free speech policy. And I think that's kind of where this is going. Because it
Yeah, I
feels weird
mean,
even to
Yeah,
me
the
to like
default.
see people talk about like, oh, this is for free speech and uncensoring, and get like mad and want more censorship. Like, why am I thinking that? And I think that's really what it is.
yeah.
Like seeing the censorship
Yeah.
through this
So
flood of information.
Well, it kind of
and
solves two issues at once. Like, Facebook has always been accused of censoring people and also spreading misinformation. It allows them to just be like, it's out of our hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
yeah,
in Europe we are quite restrictive
and
when it
then
comes to rights, and Facebook is probably quite happy this will likely be relaxed overall, meaning fewer penalties are looming. Yeah, I have no idea how like EU laws come into this and like their decisions at this part.
I feel like at that point the algorithm, since they are just sort of opening up the floodgates, and then you're gonna get like an influx of more right wing sort of shenanigans going on, then by default it seems like the algorithm will just keep that stuff perpetuating.
Yeah, and that actually can kind of leads back to the annexation of Greenland,
Yeah.
because that's how they're doing it, uh, with this like algorithm boosting, because it's just like you just look, everybody's talking about it, everybody wants it. Look, all these polls are positive, like even though it's all like probably boosted by like Meta's algorithm, Twitter's algorithm, Meta's AI accounts, like all these bots that flood in, and or like you can just people just making an account and talking to themselves and make it look like people are talking about and validating these issues.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though it's like, and that's why it comes. That's why they even like say silly things like COVID will go away if you stop reporting on it, because they really do think that if you just stop talking about things, it goes away, because they also create things by just talking about it.
Exactly.
It's crazy. It's crazy out there. And then they'll also tell you that Twitter's
baby,
not real
baby,
life.
it's a wild world.
Hard to get by just upon a smile. Yeah.
So should we talk about the annexation stuff?
I mean,
Let's
As a
do it.
segue?
I mean that's really all I had to say about it. What do you guys have to say about annexing Greenland and Canada and what else are we talking about? Invading Mexico?
Invading Mexico, taking back the Panama Canal.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Renaming the Gulf of Mexico
The Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America.
Across America.
Well, I guess that to start with that one, that would be pretty easy. You just gotta like print the maps.
Yeah, I mean that's how we name everything anyway. It'd be
Like you can say whatever. I guess you can really say whatever you want.
Mercator
like,
projection. We're
as long as everyone goes along with it, it can be whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean we could just call it that. The rest of the world doesn't have to. We're already doing that anyway. It's America.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you call it whatever you want.
We're
Vermin Supreme said we should call it Golfy McGulf Face.
I like it.
Right,
I'm always pro Vermin Supreme. He's the only president right now saying he would kill baby Hitler.
He's the only president.
Only one. No one else.
He's the one I recognize.
Tyler's absolutely right, though. The only reason Trump wants Greenland is because he thinks it's as big as the Mercator projection says it is.
Yeah,
that one doesn't even seem like a. That one doesn't even seem like a theory. That's just true.
Yeah, it looks like the fucking 8th continent.
It's like massive.
Yeah.
I don't actually know how big Greenland really is because of that.
Yeah, what's like a comparable size to Greenland?
It's pretty big.
I know it's big, but it's not like as big as the map makes it look.
It's
right?
830,000 square miles.
So like, how big is Texas?
Let's see. That's actually the best comparison. We're Americans. Let's use Texas. Texas area. 268. So it's about 3 Texases.
Oh, okay.
3 Texases.
2.5 Texases. So just about an Alaska, I think.
Okay.
But I think I was reading that there's some sort of like natural resource or oil or something in Greenland.
Oh no, it's an Alaska and a half.
And Alaska, that's still pretty damn big.
Yeah, that's 200,000 square miles bigger than Alaska.
So that's pretty big.
I can't tell if like Trump's serious about it, like because I think I read that there's some sort of like natural resource in Greenland.
Yeah,
I mean there's definitely oil.
Me and Trump, yeah.
Yeah, I read that. I read that as well, Mike. But I think that what I also read is like it's under like so much, tundra and permafrost that like if the world like warmed to the extent that we could get at it, like we would be like fighting over it in like mech suits or whatever, like it would be the end of the world.
So you're saying
Speaking
is
of the
that
end
we
of the
would want
world,
to have it before then, is what you're saying?
I guess so. Yeah, we'd need to like
That's
invest in like Armored Core Gundam style technology to get
it's
at it.
I feel like
speaking of
that
the end of the world, do you think Trump's planning for like a Fallout style annexation of Canada? Like what's his plan here?
that's what it feels like. It's really what it feels like.
I mean, I wonder what percentage of Canadians would want to be part of the U.S.
They're gonna do the same thing they do
because like I
in the
feel like
U.S.
whenever you talk to a Canadian, they're like kind of feeling like they're part of America already. They got a lot to say about
Yeah.
all our shit. You know what I'm saying?
I just saw a tweet that was like, every time I hear someone talking about the U.S. and they're from Canada or England, it's like, what are you talking about? You basically are us.
Yeah.
Every European country must raise military spending at least 5% if the U.S. won't defend them. At the same time, we're being pressured with the threat of losing Greenland. I mean,
Yeah, that
everything's a
was about
negotiation
Trump.
strategy.
What does Europe really get from Greenland?
Is it maybe it's just like ocean space, like because you also get like certain amount around it, so maybe it's like just sea lane access.
Well,
Something
the
weird
thing
like that.
is, the United States already has a bunch of military bases in Greenland, or at least they have one. And then
Yeah,
I
and, like
think,
and, like the whole point of our military bases is that like we don't have to like annex shit. Like we're just there already.
that's the thing. Like, if you read that book, what is it called? I forget who wrote it, but How to Hide an Empire. You've probably read that book.
Daniel Irwar. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the whole thing about modern imperialism is that you don't have to do this 19th century style annexation stuff anymore. You just put your bases wherever you want. So I don't really understand what Trump's game is with Greenland.
I really don't
Greenland has
either. I don't
valuable
know where
natural
it came
resources.
from.
Elsa, do you know if we can get at those natural resources? Because my understanding is that the Greenland economy is mainly based on fishing. Like there's like most Greenlanders are like fishermen.
We need the fish. They have the best fish.
They got that Atlantic cod. It's so delicious.
They got the biggest scales and the biggest fins.
Oh, it's the largest island. I thought it was like second or third for some reason.
Because what I was reading is that you can't really get to those like rare earth minerals in Greenland because of the permafrost.
Yeah,
And most of their economy is based around fish. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, what they used to say in school, like Greenland is mostly ice and Iceland is mostly like green or something.
I don't know, something like that.
Something.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Try to find something. Very interesting, but
I mean,
none of this tells me what their
if we
exports
do get
are. Here we go,
Canada,
economy.
If we do get Canada, that would be dope. If we also got their universal healthcare, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think in like I want to say like the 90s, the U.S. accidentally like dropped a nuke on Greenland and no one really noticed.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if it like detonated fully, but like they literally like accidentally like it like fell out the plane
God.
onto Greenland.
What was? Damn.
Yeah, and the Danes were like pissed off about it.
I could see why.
Yeah. I don't know. What's Denmark up to nowadays?
This is crazy. Greenland's like this is wild. They're talking about like uh they just like mostly rely on like Danish aid. Most people are unemployed and like they just kind of rely on the export of shrimp and fish to make up the difference in Danish aid. So yeah, it really does seem
Wait,
like
in
it's like
Greenland,
a
people are green.
strip mine and get them out, just get whatever they can mine out of there.
So what are they mining out of there? What's like the export volume for minerals and shit?
Is it Greenlandium?
Greenlandium. It's Greenland. It's the shit they made Green Lantern's ring out of.
Oh, what? It's a mineral I didn't think was real. Cryolite is a sodium hexafluoroaluminate, uncommon mineral identified in a once large deposit.
Cryolite.
Cryolite, important mineral in aluminum extraction. I just thought it was something someone made up for Factorio. I didn't realize it was real.
Cryolite. That sounds like a made up.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't realize.
It sounds like frozen Gatorade or something.
Yeah.
The Hall-Héroult process is the major industrial process for smelting aluminum. It involves in dissolving aluminum oxide in molten cryolite and electrolyzing the molten salt bath, typically in a purpose-built
That sounds pretty
cell.
important.
The process
Did you
conducted
just
at an
make this
industrial
up?
scale. Yeah, it's like that's Pyanon stuff right there. I don't think they have cryolite yet.
Cryolite.
So is Greenland like the major source of this cryolite stuff?
Yes. Yes, it used to be. Wait. Depleted in the 1980s. Similar deposits of coal, diamond, many metals, including silver, nickel, platinum, copper, molybdenum, iron, niobium, tantalum, uranium, and rare earths, are known to exist, but not yet in commercially viable deposits. Working to promote Greenland as an attractive destination for prospectors, improvements in technology and increases in mineral prices have led to some mines being reopened, such as the lead and zinc mine and gold mines.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the best mines under Trump.
Substantial volumes of minerals are now within reach of geological land mapping technology, according to research conducted by Global Data, partly due to retreating ice sheets due to climate change.
We're gonna bring back the mines. We're gonna bring
So
back
it
the
sounds like
It sounds like
if
we're
these
almost there.
mines were going to be commercially viable, we'd already be in an apocalyptic warming situation.
Yeah,
you know?
so it feels like just enough is kind of popping up that we want to like look at buying it. I mean, Musk knows all about buying territory and opening mines in them, so
Oh, of course, yeah.
you just get
And still with his fucking lithium mines or whatever.
right.
And plus, we basically said screw international law. So I mean, the floodgates are open now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
because this is like a privatized thing, if U.S. does buy it, it is going to be the corporations and privatized mining. It's going to be crazy. So that seems to be why people want to buy it. That's my guess. Still, I mean, that seems to be right. Oil, money,
Yeah,
resources.
that seems to be the case because the U.S. already has the military bases there, so it seems like it'd be for the post-apocalypse minerals, I guess.
Maybe they're
sense.
hoping to accelerate the apocalypse and use these resources to build the mechs. But then,
I mean, you're gonna need a lot of aluminum for your basic armored core, your Gundam, your
that's right.
I get that cryo.
Evangelion or whatever.
Gonna need a lot of Greenlandium to build the big O.
So that makes sense for Greenland, but like, what do you guys think the angle is for Canada?
I mean, that's just it's right there. I think that's really it. I think that one's a map thing. I think they just think it'll look good if our map's giant, you know.
Like, oh,
it's like
what's this big gap between us and Alaska?
Exactly. It's like when you're playing EU4 and you're just like
fill all that in.
Yeah, you're just like tired of the map looking messy, so you just like invade all the smaller countries you couldn't bear to deal with earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, this leaf looks pretty cool.
With Trudeau resigning, who is likely to be the next PM?
My favorite theory is that
Is it like some kind of conservative person?
It's going to be Trudeau in blackface. That's my favorite theory.
He's like, I'm back.
He's like, I know just the person for this job.
He's just embracing it now. He's not trying to hide it anymore. He's got nothing to lose at this point.
Right?
Minstrel show Trudeau.
Prince Ali.
Yeah,
fifth
I don't know.
Prime
I don't know
Minister.
enough about Canadian politics.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know.
Even like all the Canadians I follow on Twitter don't really talk about this. I don't know why. I haven't seen
Well, I
anyone
think
like even
he
concerned.
partially resigned because of like his response is like clap back to Trump about the Canada thing was like so lame. They're like, yeah, you're not gonna be able to.
Did you see his stairs trick?
No.
There's like his interview.
No.
Does he
like
do
the
that
Obama
thing where
year.
he like?
He just throws himself down the stairs and does like a stun fall to break the ice.
What? That's his thing.
The
That's
example
like how
he gave
he
the
like
reporter was
impresses
like,
girls at parties.
yeah, he's like the example
Oh,
he
just-
gave is the reporter. He's like, oh hey, Mr. Obama. He just like throws himself down the stairs, and then he's like, see, like I'm laughing, you're laughing. Ice is broken. We can talk business now.
I mean, that's you talk about Trump with the art of the deal. Like that's
Yeah, that's it.
that's a whole other level.
He's got the art of the stair jump.
I also
He's in
like. I
blackface
also
while
like.
he's doing this.
I also like all the theories. Barron is Trudeau's son to make him Castro's like
I
grandson.
love that.
Oh shit!
Look him just throws himself down the stairs.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, it is. It's like some Jim Carrey stuff.
I don't know what this video is, but yeah, that's it. just chucks himself down there.
Gotta embrace the vaudeville, you know.
Yeah, he's right. He's absolutely right. The sad loss for politics that's gone. All right, so next we
Wasn't
have
Trudeau's dad like marginally
Fidel
allied
Castro.
with like the French Canadian nationalists?
I don't actually know everything about Trudeau's real dad because I've never seen anyone talk about it.
I think he
Outside
was,
of
and
the,
there
like,
was like
Joke of
there was like a like propaganda poster by the opposition, and they were like, it was like multilingual today, French tomorrow. I like that.
All right, so speaking, this is something everyone's been looking forward to. We got Elon Musk gets caught lying about Path of Exile. So like he like streamed himself playing Path of Exile, and I know just enough about Path of Exile to not know what any of this means because his paid account's further than I am.
I don't think I've ever heard of that game.
It's
honestly.
it's been like it's like the free to play Diablo that's been around for like a decade now, at least. It's really good.
I work with really likes it a lot.
Yeah, it's really fun. I always play Grim Dawn instead. Like it's just not my RPG. But like, yeah, it's really good. 2 is really fun. Enjoying that. But yeah, so he did a stream and he's like, oh, my level like 96 hardcore character, and hardcore is where you don't die at all. It's pretty hard. So he goes on and like just starts playing and loses it. And the accusations are that he just bought an account, like he just bought someone's account or bought someone to play his account, boosted, and then pretend it was his on the stream. People have like timestamped and dissected the entire thing as only Reddit can, and like figured out every single thing that shows he doesn't know anything about what he's doing.
Oh man, it's so funny. It's like, how pathetic and divorced like do you have to be? Like, you have $1 billion, and here you are just lying about the dumbest shit on the internet for clout. What is your problem, man?
Well, because he thinks it looks cool. It's just more it's just vanity. It's very
Dude, you already
very
have $1 billion.
low
It's like you won the game of capitalism.
bro.
Congratulations.
If you don't
like,
get
just
his net worth, if you know how to say that's it, that's enough for me. Like you don't get that.
Well, what was that post going around on Twitter? It was like Elon Musk lost the support of gamers.
Yeah, because of this. Elon Musk has lost the trust of
Let me see if I can find it.
I
Okay,
should have gotten
this is
that
what it
one.
says. Elon lost the trust of all gamers overnight. Boosting your account and lying about it is the worst offense. Incredibly cringe. Fragile Eagle on full display.
Like, oh, that was the first cringe thing he did. Okay.
And then he went back to
And that
posting
has
Diablo 4 clips because no one
4,000 plus retweets, 99,000 likes.
Elon Musk,
Damn.
because it's funny as hell. Everyone knows a good post when they see it.
Yeah.
No one copy pastas anymore. That's a good copy pasta.
That's good. That was a good one. I like that.
And then he went back to posting Diablo 4 clips because no one plays Diablo 4 enough to know if it's real or not.
Yeah,
He
no one knows
refers to
enough
the
about
armor,
Diablo
for
4
example,
to
as a
argue.
jacket. Yeah.
Okay.
Even
Yeah.
I would do that.
Yeah, Elsa knows
I
Path
would
of
just
Exile.
I would
She
just
loves that.
look at the word curious, and never know how to say it. Curious.
Curious.
Yeah, Cuiras.
Oh,
It's been like
or
my
whatever.
entire life. I don't know how to say that word. I've been reading it in ARPGs.
Yeah, I've only read that word.
Yeah,
right?
I've never heard anyone say it out
Ah.
loud. Or if like I have and I just like haven't registered
jacket,
that that's what they're saying. But no one ever
Okay.
called it a jacket. That's crazy. He's a very odd guy.
Jacket is wild.
Generally enters maps with a full inventory and does not seem to know what to remove to from his inventory to make sense. Genuinely does not seem to understand which items to pick up and will pick up low tier items just because they look shiny. Doesn't know how to use a mana potion. That's my favorite one.
What?
He like
It's
opens
always the blue one.
he like
It's
opens
always the
his
blue one.
inventory and then like picks the item up, so it puts it to the cursor, and then he like drags it into his inventory instead of just like clicking it to pick it up.
Yeah.
He doesn't know the
Oh,
difference between item level and character level.
So
The account
So he's a
is on
fake
puts their
gamer.
maps in a tab
this
called
is what
Elon's
Michael
Map.
Does Life is always talked about.
So unbelievably sad. How does it
How
feel?
does it feel to be a part of the Losers Club? I tried to tell you, fake gamers, that Elon Musk doesn't know how to play Path of Exile.
So
But you wouldn't
unbelievably
listen.
sad.
Because you were going,
Oh man.
But
As one of the richest men in Earth who also wants geopolitical influence, it's really strange to cheat in games and pretend to be something else. That's how we know he's human and weak and vulnerable. Because he needs.
that's the most admirable thing about him is he wants gamers to think he's
and
cool.
that's how we know Musk isn't, because even when he's trying to, like, in his longer hair and chain, like, he literally still looks like a skinwalker, like trying to address the trappings of what he thinks humanity is.
Yeah.
So like, how long do you think he's gonna let that post stay on Twitter?
That's a Reddit post, man. They're never. Oh, the
that's a
Elon
Reddit
hates
post. All right, never mind.
gamers. I don't know. That's gonna stay up forever too. He can't. Well, he can delete things. He does still, but I don't know. I really don't know. It's just so
Are
funny.
we sure that we're absolutely sure he was faking this? Because I got burned by the whole Adrian Dittman thing. Because I didn't believe there was a dude lame enough to like want to be Elon Musk and
there was like one guy who was like just like couldn't. It was like being a wet blanket on it, and like you could tell he definitely wasn't, but it was still really funny because he was really trying. He definitely did a great job pretending to be Elon Musk enough. But then when Elon Musk took credit for it, it was immediately unfunny, and it was like, okay, now we know it's not him.
Yeah, it was just some guy who's lame enough to also want to be Elon Musk.
Fake that stupid accent.
Yeah.
Here's my favorite evidence. Rumored here, when players have whispered his account to buy items through trade, the message defaulted to Chinese, indicating the account player on a server that speaks primarily Chinese. Also, allegedly, the names of trade stash tabs belonging to Elon's account were in Chinese, indicating whoever is managing the stash tab prefers Chinese to English.
There it is. He's exploiting Chinese labor.
Yep. That's the oldest MMO trick in the book.
So does this call it? Because you guys remember his infamous Elden Ring build
Quick
where he
load would be lower if fast rolls required. He had like 3 shields on.
yeah, like I don't think you have to have a good like build, quote unquote, in Elden Ring, but like
Mine kind of looked like that, but for weapons, I'd like run around with like 3 different weapons and like 2 catalysts, depending
yeah,
on like which hand I needed the buff to be on.
yeah, he had like a ton of shields and like several catalysts.
And,
Like
like I wanted my mimic tier to have different stuff than me, so I'd have to put all that on there too.
yeah,
But like his didn't
and
make
then
any sense. You couldn't. There was no logic to it. He had like no strength, but was wearing all this heavy crap. He had like a weirdly amount of intellect, but nothing that scaled off it equipped. It was just really odd.
yeah,
That
it
sounds like
was
a
very
Digimon thing
bizarre.
to do.
So does this call into question his? I know we already discussed this, but his Diablo 4 credentials.
The thing is, it doesn't really matter for that one. Like no one cares.
Yeah.
Path
Like
of
as long
Exile is
as
like a real
you're
game.
K'd
Diablo
out
4
enough,
is
you
like,
can be good.
yeah, no one cares if it's him or not. It's just not. Like, even if he is, it just doesn't matter. Because like the people who play Diablo 4 like probably also are doing that anyway.
Yeah. He's probably the only one who still plays that game, right?
I think so.
No one likes Diablo 4.
Every once in a while, Lamont will be
Yeah,
like,
I
"Oh,
tried
it's
it with
kind
a
of
hot
good
game,
now,"
I
and
was
now
like,
then he'll be like, "No, there's nothing to do. It's still an empty game. We haven't fixed it, and they're gonna sell
Yeah.
yearly expansions." It's it's so bad that like I lost my BattleNet account. I can't get it back. I don't care to because
You're like, yeah, who cares?
oh,
um, and then the
Okay, also says the right question is how long it will take
Oh.
before he buys Reddit. He should have bought Reddit.
I think I've talked about this
man.
before on here, but I think he
Yeah,
tried
it's
to buy
probably next
Reddit.
on his list.
I think he tried to because right about when he was buying Twitter, Reddit did a very unpopular thing where they started charging for their web API and like killed all the free like Reddit alternative apps that just like browse Reddit but like not on the Reddit formatting.
Not on the awful Reddit
Yeah.
app.
And so they started charging for those, so all those apps had to charge or like not continue because they're not can't be free anymore. Um, and so what I suspect happened is that Musk tried to buy Reddit, got a valuation. Reddit realized they were worth way more than they thought they did, and then started juicing everybody for more as well, and didn't sell it.
Yeah. Is it
That's
confirmed
there's no
like
sources
Musk
on that.
uses Reddit? Like, do we know he has a Reddit account?
I think he did. I don't know if he still
Because
does.
his humor is very Reddit.
Yeah.
Like he's not. He
Reddit
doesn't
is
seem like a Twitter guy.
I don't think they found. I don't know. I haven't looked into that. I've thought about that. Really, for some reason.
I feel like I get more like 4chan vibes from Musk.
No, he's like Reddit used to love Musk. So, like he may have, but I haven't. I don't know. I don't know if he had a Reddit account. There was a whole thing with
Yeah.
Ian Miles Chong. Apparently, he had a Reddit account. He used to be like a big mod.
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't
he
know-
used
I
to
didn't know
just
that was
talk
like why
about
he was
video
famous.
games, right?
Yeah.
He like didn't used to talk about politics.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of like that overlap though. Like a lot of those like people in the spaces where they're like, being inflammatory about video
Yeah.
games or like in
The whole
power spaces on Reddit, like leveraged that kind of like visibility into the same right wing grifting that everyone's doing right now. That's why we're seeing Gamergate 2.0 overlap with Wildfire. And like Ian Miles Chong and
Crazy.
Rum. It's just weird. Really weird movement in American politics.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Chuck Schumer is on the case to combat this. Don't worry, guys. The gerontocracy of the Democratic Party, they are the vanguard of all that is free.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the squad's gonna do something, gonna start speaking out about all this any day now.
Yeah.
Any minute now. They're totally not gonna cry when Pelosi like yells at them.
I really hope we get punished Bernie Sanders in 2028. He's got the like beard and eye patch.
Oh,
And
dude.
He's kind of already doing that. Like, did you see that post he did during the whole like H1B thing? He was like,
No.
"Yeah, H1B like kind of sucks," and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Bernie, you racist!"
Oh yeah, because he's looking at it from like a worker exploitation thing, and not just like a,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and not just like any opposing of immigration is racist. You know,
yeah.
Elon. In case you're
Face
watching, I
Bernie.
was joking. I'm actually your fan. I think you're pretty amazing. Even your first video game that you programmed was absolutely fantastic. So here are my bank details. Fantastic. I'm saying that out loud, so we're all on record too. If he's watching.
Yeah, we all agree with that. Please super chat $1 billion to
Yeah, absolutely. To contemporary.
contemporary current.
I would. I'm full disclosure in a heartbeat. I would take the money to just start chill. I need to pay my bills. So if anyone wants to
Just
start funding us to say whatever you want us to, just
yeah,
email us at contemporarycurrent@aol.com.
yeah, we'll bounce on it.
That's right.
We'll do tricks on it for money.
Absolutely. Fuck you, pay us.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have one more thing. That's right. It's a whole
Okay.
BS
Yeah.
now. The last thing is the Switch 2 is rumored. Someone did some mock-ups based on a leak, and then people started 3D printing the mock-ups and taking pictures with it. So that's fun. It's all fun. We're in like a new neo wave of like leaks where like people can like make stuff up, and then we can now just make
And then
made up
actually
stuff.
make it
Yeah.
like the
Well,
Xbox
also, so one of them,
720.
Has someone tried 3D printing an AI generated monstrosity yet? Because that'd be
Like
sick.
they should just let AI 3D print something.
They should. Like I
yeah.
could.
But no, like I guess like the biggest leak was like there was like a third party like accessory maker or whatever at like CES and the Consumer Expo whatever in Las Vegas, and like they were actually showing like a case to put the Switch 2 in, and then Nintendo's like, no, it's not real, it's not real. And I guess they like sent their like lawyers after this company.
I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah, Nintendo will
Yeah,
send their lawyers
for
after
Nintendo.
anything.
Yeah.
Even after like 7-year-olds for like having like Mario in like one of their YouTube videos or something.
Yeah.
I still can't believe the Wizards of the Coast actually sent the Pinkertons to someone's house, like last year.
I don't know if I'm familiar with that one.
I can't remember what it was. Either over like leaks or something. Uh, we can.
That's so funny. It's so funny the Pinkertons are still around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think of them as that high school in New Hampshire, Pinkerton Academy.
Yeah, from Derry.
Yeah.
Derry. Shout out Derry, New Hampshire. I lived there.
Shout out to the Pinkertons and Derry, the good ones. You're the good ones.
Yeah.
The only good Pinkertons.
So, what is the leaks? What's being said about the Switch
so okay.
2? Like, what's
the
the big difference?
I don't know. It's just more powerful.
So the reveal date is supposed to be, I guess, this Thursday, January 16th. That's according to this leaker, Nate the Hate.
Yeah.
Who I guess is like usually right like 90% of the time.
Mario Kart is said to be set for launch with a 3D Mario following in holiday 2025. Other games reportedly set for Switch 2 include Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Mirage and Final Fantasy VII Remake. Switch 2 leaks have come. Oh, well, it's not. Micro SD Express cards have suggested the console supports the newer standard of SD cards in 256 and 512 forms, or gigabyte forms. Larger SL and SR buttons than on the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. Bigger console overall. New Joy-Cons allegedly ditched the railed lock method by a different current switch in favor of electromagnetic suction controllers. 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage. There's a new C button on the right Joy-Con allegedly, but no one seems to know what it's for.
Ooh.
That's all I got. And then someone posted a video of like a hand job dildo controller, and it was like, these Switch 2 leaks are getting out of control.
Apparently that micro SD Express. So I guess that's like a newer like SD card format. So the Switch already uses like SD cards for like memory.
Yeah.
And I guess supposedly like the Express one's just super fast. So like I guess the idea is that it'll like get it like close enough to like PS4 Pro-ish, I guess. And I guess the micro SD Express leak was on like a GameStop website where it was like GameStop's like vendor whatever website thing. Like it explicitly called it like micro SD Express for Switch 2. And then like the next day it was just taken down.
Can the Switch 2
So
run
like some of
Doom?
these leaks like are actually pretty legit.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like what I expect from a Switch 2.
Yeah.
Not too much different.
It's a Switch 2.
Hey, it's this is a Switch, but this is a Switch too.
I mean, it's like I'd be pretty happy with it because like that's basically all I want from a Switch 2. I want it to have like 4K, upscalability or whatever. I want it to have, faster load times or whatever. As long as it can do that, I'll be happy.
I don't even care about any of that. I just wanted. I really like. I don't care if they came out and they're like, this new game is 1080p, 30 frames a second, as long as the game is fun,
Oh yeah, and apparently like the Joy-Cons are gonna work. Like, there's gonna be some weird like Nintendo like gimmick for like the Joy-Con where it can like work as a mouse
That'd be
or
sick.
something.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be cool. Because they have like the gyro. You could probably do that.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll bring back Mario Paint. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be sick.
Maybe they'll do more like cardboard shit.
That was, I mean, that was really
like
cool.
the Labo or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had one, but like conceptually, it was cool.
It looked cool.
It did.
I think you got into it a little, Mike, right? Did you get some of that?
I got pretty heavy into Switch. I never went into Labo though. I was like, cardboard VR. This is interesting, but I never actually like made the jump.
Can the Switch 2 run Doom?
No, I don't think it will.
Can it Doom what Nintendo?
I think the Switch already. I think you can already get like Doom Eternal on the Switch, can't you?
Oh yeah. It doesn't look pretty, but you can run it.
I really like how the Switch got like really wonky looking ports, like the good old days,
Yeah.
When it'd be like, look at the
It's
PS2
got like a
version.
T38 SCSI port.
Yeah. Do you remember the like Game Informer April Fool's article about Fallout Vault Party for the Wii?
Yeah.
Fallout 3, but no exteriors and no one has legs.
That's just like AR game,
Yeah.
basically. They're ahead of the time.
This is Switch 2. Yeah, that is great. Just like other things
Mario
that are
Maker
Switches.
3.
This is a Switch 2.
Switch 2. No, if they get Mario Maker 3 on there, I'd be pretty happy.
Honestly, PS4 Pro is about as powerful as a video game console ever needs to be.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, like if it can like do that, then all right, cool. Like you don't really need to worry about not really keeping up with PS5. Like I can barely tell the difference between like PS4 Pro graphics and PS5 graphics.
A new kind of button? Well, you didn't hear the Switch leaks? They said there's a C button that no one knows what it's done. No one knows what it's for.
It's just the C button.
Yeah.
They're bringing back the C buttons, just like the N64.
That's right.
Now they just need like a middle prong, like a middle Joy-Con.
That's right. Like they are.
Bring back that weird trident design.
Have you thought about this, Mike? The touchscreen is the middle. The middle.
My God, they've gone full Nintendo.
It's always has been.
Always has been.
I do feel like
I think they should
we,
work in
as
like a
like
third
a
joystick.
society and gamers, like are ready for like another button on the controller. Like that's one thing. One problem I have about Elden Ring, you have to like press. You have to like hold L1 and press triangle or whatever to like, do one-handed mode. Like, just give me like a rhombus button.
Well, Switch 2's got
Give
you
me a
covered.
rhombus for that shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't have it on me. Steam Deck actually already has
Yeah.
4 new buttons. It's got like the back paddle buttons.
Okay.
So it's like the triggers on top, and there's like 4 that like your hands that are holding the like back of the controller just hit. And those are amazing. Like I love mapping everything to those 4 buttons when I'm playing the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So Steam's working on new buttons as well.
Okay. I like the Steam Deck.
And you can map
I've
like
never,
anything
I've never
to buttons.
touched one or seen one in real life, but
So,
I like the concept.
You can like map opening like a radial menu of just more buttons to a button on the Steam Deck. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Is it like so? Like I've always thought Steam Decks were like interesting, but like it looks kind of bulky. Like how is it like handling that thing?
I mean, if that's the thing is, I've always been like really good at just sitting and looking at a thing in my lap for hours on end. So it just doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
All right. It's definitely appreciably bigger than a Switch, but like if you can handle just like holding the Switch handheld, it really doesn't feel that uncomfortable. And I have tiny hands, so you'll probably be fine. It's really comfortable. I like it.
All right.
I definitely support the Steam Deck.
If you double tap the C button, it'll automatically start playing
The
contemporary.
PS4 has a podcast button already, so it can't be that.
Yeah.
The PS4 now is already like the new button they gave us. Even though it wasn't really new, they just turned the start and select button into podcast button. Which, to be fair, I feel like that was brilliant because select never did anything anyway.
Right.
Until they made it like a send to Twitter button.
It's not true. In Metal Gear Solid, it brought up your codec so you can call the kernel.
You can call Meryl.
You're right. But like, didn't start just like pause the game. Like, it was the answer codec button. But like, yeah, usually it was just like a press select to do something. Very, very rarely.
Yeah, it was always like the weird button.
Making it a Twitter button was the best thing the PS4 did, and now it's not even a Twitter button anymore. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You had a Twitter button, and then they gave you like a giant pad to just click.
Yeah, the trackpad.
Trackpad.
I love that. I love trackpads. Steam Deck's got 2 trackpads. That's why it's the best.
Ooh.
Yeah, you one on.
Yeah, Kojima loved that button.
It's like a. It's like having 4 analog sticks basically, but like not in an intrusive way.
Whoa.
Excuse me, because it also has the D-pad on there too, and a start and select button, and then like a second start and select button.
Man, Gabe Newell, you were cooking with fire.
He really did. Steam Deck's the best.
I kind of want one. I wonder how much they are right now.
No, yeah, I don't think. I mean, come on. The Game Gear was probably one of the best like devices we've ever made. That was a good contraption. The Sega Game Gear. The Steam Deck.
Turbo Express actually beat the Game Gear by like 6 years.
Did it have a TV
It was a
on
portable.
That's awesome.
It did.
I think the Steam Deck.
In 1989,
you could probably get a Steam Deck to run a like digital antenna.
Put the rabbit ears on it.
Yeah, you could. It's just Linux, so you could probably.
Yeah, keep it.
If they can make a grill out of the PS3, you can make a TV. You strap TV antennas on your Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Those two things are comparable.
Did you guys ever have a Game Gear?
I think
I
one of my
did. I
stepsisters
found one at a
did.
yard sale for like $5.
There was like one
But
Oh,
then
summer, there was just a Game Gear at my dad's house.
yeah, I got one from a yard sale for like $5, like when I was like 12 or 13. But then like the capacitors blew out. I'm like, all right, I can't do anything with this.
what's the best Sega console?
Dreamcast, right? Like hands down.
Yeah, probably the Dreamcast.
I don't
Like
know
that
anything
thing was
about
only out for like
Saturn.
2 years.
I don't know a single thing about the Saturn, the Sega Saturn, or like the turn. There's like I only know the Genesis and the Dreamcast, so I'm not really qualified to answer.
Was the Saturn the one they like released by surprise and then like no one had any games for it?
Yeah, there's like
Yep, it was that one,
the
and like
only
it was
game I
also
know
like
for it
poorly off.
for a fact is Castlevania Symphony of the Night Saturn port. It's like more content in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the Saturn, like the whole thing was like it like advertised itself as like a 3D console, but like it really wasn't optimized for 3D like at all. Like it like blew up in Japan for some reason, but like more than half the games in Japan were like all like 2D like fighting games or like side scrolling games.
Yeah, it was supposed to have like a weird PS1.
But yeah, Dreamcast was probably their best console because like they had the VMU. You could play like little games on it. It's pretty cool. Like
It
it
was
was
so
only out for
cool.
2 years, and
Xbox just
like
like
it just
stole the
pumped out.
idea of wholesale, and no one talked about it. The like
What was
top
that?
loading memory card slot in the controller, the Xbox just had that. No one really talked about how it just like ripped it. It just
Dude,
took the game.
dude, dude, you gotta compare a Dreamcast controller to an Xbox
They're like a
controller.
one to
It's
one
the same controller except they added an extra stick.
because we like I had them both like almost while they were current. 'Cause my sister had a Dreamcast. So at that point, it was past, but like then we had the original Xbox like a couple years late. So yeah, we always talked about it. Just never heard anyone else talk about it.
It's funny, but yeah, like the Dreamcast was only out for like 2 years, and it just pumped out like banger after banger after
Yeah,
banger.
I
It's
feel like
like,
every Dreamcast game is someone's favorite game of all time.
and I feel like it had like more games in 2 years than we have on PS5 right now. Like that's insane.
I still think it's funny that PS5's like the only like PS5 game is just a game that's advertising like other PlayStation games.
Yeah.
Even though it's like it looks good as hell. Like I'm really glad Astrobot exists, but it is still kind of like conceptually funny.
Yeah,
I kind
I
of
was
like
wondering if-
that. Yeah. I kind of like that Sony is like kind of being more self-referential now because like it's kind of made me realize I've been a Sony fan like throughout
Yeah,
my
they
most
should
of
be.
my life, except for the 360.
I feel like
but
they should be allowed to just like release a good piece of hardware and like a couple good games every once in a while. Just
yeah,
like rest on their laurels like they're Nintendo. Like why not?
yeah.
Like you don't need a PS5
Jack Fred.
exclusive. Like you just need a PS5.
Like that episode. I don't know if you guys have watched that show. What's that show called? Secret Level.
Oh no, I
Where
didn't
like
see
the
any of
last
that.
episode of the season is just like it's just like a bunch of mashup. Like the Helldivers are in it, and like Astrobots in it, and Little Big Planet or whatever the fuck it's called is in it.
Oh, I gotta watch that one.
Yeah, I just remember seeing the
It's good.
Pac-Man
I like
trailer and it like was alright.
It's an
Yeah,
alright show. But it's got its moments.
It's funny. I was playing Little Big Planet with my wife, and she actually like really enjoyed it. I'm like hell yeah. And she was like, "Oh, so you like the game?" She's like, "Yeah, but I don't like how it's just basically like a commercial for PlayStation." I'm like, "Oh, but I love that. Like, it's bringing back so many childhood memories."
Yeah, PlayStation's cool. Like,
Yeah.
why if Nintendo can do it, why can't Sony?
And the only reason that it exists is because Nintendo like stabbed Sony in the back, which is like hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's like a whole like unreleased demo build of like Final Fantasy VII on the on the N64 because it was originally going to be an N64 game. Like every other Final Fantasy was Nintendo only.
yeah.
I don't think it's like entirely the same thing, but like it is probably around the same time.
Yeah, Square got annoyed with Nintendo for like sticking with cartridges. They're like, motherfucker, you're charging us way more to put your game on a cartridge when we could put it on a CD for like a fraction of the cost. So then, yeah, they stuck with Sony for a long ass time.
Yeah.
They ported GTA 3 to Dreamcast. That's pretty crazy.
But you can also play Shenmue, which is probably only fun on original hardware. I don't know if I want to play like Shenmue on my PC.
Do you know where sailors like to hang out?
Years ago, I was Chinese.
Oh man.
All right. Well, anyone else have anything else?
Okay, does anyone in the chat have anything to discuss? Politics, games?
This is your last
Let me
chance.
see what Dreamcast games are. While we're on the subject, but bam, Dreamcast games.
Oh, that's right.
What you got?
I got Jet Grind Radio.
Nice.
I believe in
hell yeah.
Europe it's called Jet Set Radio. We got Crazy Taxi. It's probably my favorite, just because it's so
Classic.
wacky. You got 5 Crazy Minutes. I got Rayman 2.
Didn't Bernie
Great
Sanders
Escape.
play Crazy
This is
Taxi?
like
Did someone? Oh,
No,
Tim Walz.
Tim
what's
Walz.
his
Yeah, yeah.
name?
If Bernie
Yeah,
Sanders
Tim
played
Walz.
Bernie's Crazy Taxi, we would have
Didn't
taken
him
this
and
country.
AOC play it together or something?
Yeah, Tim Walz, aka the guy who was cool for like 5 seconds and then started like praising JD Vance in his debate.
Yeah. They
They
had
got
like a
so-
bromant during the debate.
Ready to Rumble.
Classic.
It's a classic boxing game.
Yeah.
Sonic Adventure.
To be fair, I don't even know how many
And of course-
Xboxes they've made.
Shenmue.
Every time someone talks about like I don't know what the current Xbox is, I don't know the newest X, they chose immediately the most like random ass naming scheme that I don't know.
Yeah, it's very
I have
confusing.
no idea what the Xbox is right now.
Because it's like the Series S, but then what was the last? The last
Oh man.
gen was called something confusing.
Because it was like
Xbox
One S.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
it was the Xbox Series S.
Yeah. So they had Xbox One, and then they had Xbox One S, which is like their I don't know, like downgraded Xbox One or something, and then they had Xbox One X, which is like their Xbox Pro, but it just spells out Xbox, and it's super confusing. Now they're on Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, because I
Xbox
thought they
Series S.
did. Yeah, you're right. They did have just another Xbox for a minute there.
Yeah.
Like someone's grandma probably several thousand grandmas bought the wrong Xbox for their grandsons.
Absolutely.
Like
I would
a
buy
bunch
the
of
wrong
like a
Xbox.
bunch of grandsons in like Christmas 2022 got the Xbox One.
Like if I went to the
S.
store to buy an Xbox, I would probably
And
buy
they
the
were
wrong
pissed.
one. Like right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
And I'm
imagine
sure-
telling your grandma like, okay, grandma, it's called the Xbox Series S. Don't get me the Xbox One S.
Not the one.
Like,
Don't do
okay,
the
Sonny,
1S
I
or
know
the Series S or the
you.
1X. I need the Series X.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's probably like part of the reason why they are like stepping away from like making consoles and just putting their stuff like everywhere.
And that's absolutely right. I don't think they need an Xbox. At some point,
Yeah,
Microsoft
that's
has
what
to
Cobra
realize
said.
that their computer PC is the Xbox.
Yeah, they try to do that. Like whenever I open my like work laptop, it's like, hey, check out the Xbox app. I'm like, no, I'm trying to work.
Don't work. Download Game Pass. Pay
You guys are
$5
gonna get
and
me
play
in
Stalker
trouble.
2.
Yeah. Play the God of the Gears of War remake.
Oh, it's coming to PS5, I guess.
Yeah, Elon should save the Xbox.
Oh my god.
He's gonna try to buy Active Blizzard. next, probably.
Blizzard.
Blizzard.
I hope he does, and then maybe he'll make another Sekiro or something.
No, he's gonna make himself into
Right.
every
Didn't
Battle.net game.
Activision distributed Sekiro, right?
I thought that was another Bandai Namco thing.
No, it was Activision.
I don't.
I feel like Xbox is already doing the Elon Musk model of just buying everything in sight.
Yeah, they buy out
Yeah.
and they just buy and get the name and then shut it down after they don't release any games or give them money to make games or don't market the games they did
Or even
make
if they
so
make
no one
games,
bought them,
they'll
or
shut it
put
down.
all the games they did make on Game Pass immediately so no one bought them with real money.
Yeah.
Yeah, their strategy makes no sense.
Sometimes Game Pass feels like the Always Sunny in Philadelphia Dave and Buster's episode. They're like they just like hand out all their money and they're like, well, we have it all back. So when do we get real money? My new Ace. I've never played a single Ace Combat game. You
Is
guys
that
ever
the
played
one
Ace Combat? It's like Planes.
Planes?
Yeah, the dude I work with really likes those games a lot.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those things like Monster Hunter or Factorio,
Is it
or
like,
Madden, or
like a wicked like player?
I don't know.
Remember when they put Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox? That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I never played it, but I watched Michael play it.
I mean people love that stuff. I mean I love that stuff. I never played Flight Simulator, but I'm like 500 hours and 50 YouTube episodes into Farming Simulator, so
Yeah. Shout out to Folkmar Dead Guy, the farming simulator.
yeah, subscribe to our YouTube.
Shout out to Elsa Hack. She plays a lot of retro games. You guys should check her out.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll
shout
check
out.
her out.
Shout out to the Worm game too,
Which one?
that she's programming.
Oh, she's making a worm game? Is it like Worms?
The Worm Odyssey?
Yeah, Elsa's making a Worm game. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, that's cool.
Worm Odyssey or Worm Online? I think I saw a thumbnail for Worm Online.
Yeah. Okay, Cobra's playing us off.
Alright. I mean, we're pretty much just kind of rambling here anyway.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, shout out to Cobra.
Shout out.
Shout out to Elsa.
Like.
Shout out to Tyler. Or, sorry, Infinity Farm. Not to dox him.
I know, we even said we really did.
We said what his name was and where,
Like
he
where he
lives. We
lives.
fucked up his channel.
Bad, yo.
Right.
Don't dox your friends online.
Alright, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.